I wanted to take today to talk a little bit about some of my HG products, or Holy Grail products, I think is what people call them. And it's something that I've been blogging for about over a year now. And I've tried to do these in the blog, and I've tried to think of like what my HG products were, and it's always been kind of a struggle for me because one, I think the best of the best products is a very subjective call, and also I feel a little bit responsible for saying, this is the best product ever, because potentially someone could be going out and buying products based on your recommendation, and I don't want them to feel like they wasted their money. So I'll put in the disclaimer that these are my favorite products, and obviously products work differently on everybody, so take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but hopefully my list will help you get some ideas if you're in sort of a rut, and hopefully some of those products actually work as well for you as they did for me. So I'm going to start out with a really big cliche and talk about my favorite palette of all time, and that is the Naked palette. I've had mine for actually well over a year, and as you can see, it's been pretty much pillaged to death. I've used it almost every day since I got it. I've used it for work. I haven't really used it as a going out look yet, but it can easily be something that you could transition from day to night. And for me, it's just one of the most well thought out, high quality and well edited palettes there are. And again, as a reminder, you're getting the exact same amount of product that you would be getting if you were going out and buying an Urban Decay single shadow, but you're getting it for much less. I think they cost about $18 as single shadows, and in the Urban Decay Naked palette it averages out to be around $4. So that's drugstore prices. Huge discount, and especially if it's something you're getting a lot of use out of, definitely worth the investment. I saw the Naked 2, and I didn't really jump on the bandwagon of going out and getting the Naked 2. I think it's cooler shades, it's more taupe shades, and I don't know that those would really work for me, and I also wanted to get through Naked 1 before I even looked at the Naked 2 palette, because I just want to use up what I already have. As far as mascara, my HG mascara is Smoky Lash by Makeup Forever, and hopefully you can see this here. I had originally bought the waterproof version because I'm used to buying waterproof versions because they're drier formulas, and for someone who has almost no lashes, or really just anemic lashes like mine, which are stick straight, very, very short, sparse, there's really no hope for me. But for a mascara to make a visible difference on my lashes, it's basically performing miracles, and this one does that. You can build the mascara, obviously. If you put on an excessive amount of layers, you're going to eventually get clumping, but the mascara in general, it's very hard for it to clump. It goes on very evenly, it lengthens your lashes, it adds volume. I mean, I just really don't know what else a mascara can do for you, so it just delivers in so many ways. And normally I'm someone who still sticks with drugstore mascaras, but I had a bad experience with Voluminous, which had always been my favorite mascara out of the drugstore, and I don't know if they changed the formula or if I just had sort of a what was I thinking moment, and I just didn't notice it all those years that I was using it. But the last tube that I got was so clumpy that, I mean, even just taking it out of the, just taking the wand out of the tube, there would be huge clumps on the brush, and this was like a brand new tube, and so I'd have to sit there and like wipe off the clumps, and I just didn't really notice it doing as much for my lashes as I used to think it did. And then I think probably the breaking moment for me was I often put my makeup on when I'm still like in my pajamas, and sometimes like I'm in like boxer type shorts, and I opened the mascara and it actually, like, something dropped on me. Like, it was like I felt something fall on my leg, And I was like, you know, what was that? Like, I was honestly like, what the hell was that? Favorite foundation would be Makeup Forever HD foundation, and for me, I have to go more high-end if I want to get a foundation that really matches the undertones of my skin as well as my skin tone. I grew up with a pink, you know, line of demarcation on my neck because for years they didn't acknowledge the fact that some people had yellow undertones and not pink undertones. So I had to basically wear a mask. The reason I wore foundation was because I had acne. But once I finally, basically once the cosmetic companies finally got in tune with the fact that, you know, the American you know, complexion was really changing, and they started to answer to that, I was just sort of like almost in like a hoarder mentality. It was like all of those traumatic years of having like a pink neck finally like just sort of crystallized, and I was like, I have to get these foundations that actually match my skin tone. And the Makeup Forever HD, because it has so many versatile shades, it actually just blends right into my skin and looks like a second skin. I've heard people complain that it makes their skin look oily or it doesn't really set. You have to set it with a setting powder for it to really last. It's not really meant to be a long-wearing foundation. It's not really meant to be something like that. So if you want to make it last, that's definitely an extra step that, you know, you can take. My HG blush right now, and I've never really been someone who was like a blush collector. I have maybe 5 blushes at a time, and I probably don't even get through those very quickly. But for a long time I was trying to use peach blushes, and something about them never really did much for me, because I think it's probably because when you have medium to dark skin tone, it doesn't look very natural on you, at least on me. And it's because we don't really flush pink, we flush more of a deeper color. And in sort of a breaking moment of just being like, I cannot hear the word peachy pink again in my life without wanting to scream, I went to MAC and I got this blush, and it's Amberling Rose by MAC, and it's not one of their very well-known blushes, but I'll try to swatch it and hopefully you can get an idea of how it looks. I'm actually wearing it today. It looks very natural on my skin tone, and it's deep enough so that it almost has like a little bit of a contouring effect. So it sort of doubles as like a blush, and it can be a little bit of a contour. And it just looks so much more natural on my skin tone than a pink blush does. And it does have some shimmer to it, but I don't notice it on my skin. I don't see shimmery flecks on my skin. It's not something that looks unnatural. It just really blends into my skin. It looks great. As far as HG lipstick, I would say it would be the YSL Rouge Volupte. It is definitely one of the best lipsticks that I have ever tried. I don't have it right now. I have it actually at home, and it's basically hit the point where the lipstick bullet is like kind of embedded within the tube, and I'm like sitting there and like kind of digging it out because it's just such a good product. But if I eventually go back and decide to buy another lipstick and splurge, that would definitely be the one that I do. They're not cheap. Definitely go to a counter. Have someone assist you and find a shade that really works for you, because it's a big investment. But I find that like you can dupe easily shades with drugstore lipsticks, but you can't dupe textures, and that lipstick just, it truly feels like silk going on, and it's just very luxurious. I mean, it's not hype, it's not just sort of the image of like it, that it's YSL. It really does go on amazingly well. It looks beautiful on the skin or on the lips, and the colors are just gorgeous. So if you're gonna splurge, I would say splurge on that lipstick.
I've even used Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's face it, you know, we use Dawn for the dog. because it's used in when they have these oil spills and they have to clean up birds that are covered with oil.
Right.
And
do you want to try covering?
So my assumption is that it's a natural. It doesn't affect the birds. Doesn't affect the wildlife. So it's safe to.
Yeah, but you're not in an oil slick.
No, but the point is that it can be used to remove oil, and basically what you're doing when you're washing your hair is you're removing oil. You know, your
like
hair.
the Exxon Valdez. Yeah.
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 So, and the Gulf incident with the tower or the drilling rig blowing up and what have you.
Oh, I always thought you hated the fact that I wore makeup.
No, I never hated it. I thought sometimes that it was a little overdone. You could actually see the line where your makeup ended.
Well, that's because I was using 80s makeup that had totally fake coverage. But it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's this all about anyway?
I'm just filming you and Trinket. Trinket, what are your beauty regimens? So do you
takes a shower with me?
does Trinket? Do you like to see women in makeup?
Depends on how it's done.
Do you want it to look
I
like?
want it to look natural.
Like there's no makeup on at all?
Yeah. Lipstick is fairly obvious. Maybe a little eyeshadow. But when I see them made up to the nines, it's just a total turn off.
Yeah.
They overdo it, when they have 3 or 4 different colors on their eyes and underliner and all that nonsense. It doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
Looks like they should be, in Egypt and they're parked next to the Sphinx.
Yeah. Do you think women sometimes obsess too much about their looks?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
My attitude is what you see is what you get. And, you meet a girl and she's all made up and
you don't know what's under there.
You go, wait a minute. I wanted to take her mask off and see what she's really like.
I know. You had a big crush on Jennifer O'Neill for many years. Remember her? She was the CoverGirl model.
Well, I didn't have a crush on her. I thought she was a very attractive woman.
Yeah, she's very beautiful.
She was beautiful. I've never been attracted to anybody but your mother.
Good answer.
I've never, I never wanted to stray out of the pasture.
I understand. I just mean in general. Or like before you met Mom.
Your mother is to me, she's a beautiful woman.
Good answer.
And even today, people have thought she's my daughter.
That's frightening because you're only 7 years apart.
Yeah, well, that's it. She carries her age very well.
Have you ever had any beauty routines?
Hell no.
No interest?
Not at all.
No skincare interest? No nothing?
Losing weight, maybe.
Yeah.
That was about the extent of it.
Are you happy that you still have a full head of hair?
Well, it's better than being bald.
Well, yeah.
I was bald once.
Well, yeah, but that's because you shaved it off.
But what was funny is that people said it made me look younger.
Well, maybe you should go back and cut it off.
I don't think your mother would like it.
Yeah.